Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering this week and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Westwood, and I'm here with Editor-in-Chief Hugo Gurdon. And Hugo, President Biden visited the border finally in this past week, and he also had a big meeting, the Three Amigos meeting with President of Mexico and the Prime Minister of Canada. Do you think he got what he wanted out of both of those things?
Certainly not in the short term, because what it did, Sarah, is to focus public attention on the biggest failure of his presidency, which is the southern border, where record after record is being smashed by the numbers of people coming over. He hasn't been to the border, and of course, the vice president, who's charged with dealing with illegal immigration, has also avoided the border. And that has allowed the handmaidens in the media of the Democratic president to ignore the subject as well. But by going down there and bringing all the TV cameras with him, it has forced coverage. And of course, the meeting with President Obrador and Prime Minister Trudeau also obliged the media to focus public attention on illegal immigration. And so whether this somehow allows Biden to get ahead of a problem before he declares himself running for the presidency again remains to be seen. But sort of in the short term, he certainly didn't get the plaudits that he was hoping for.
You wrote a piece about this whole dynamic, and in it you made a really interesting comparison of this situation and the way the Biden administration has handled the illegal immigration numbers to rogue prosecutors in liberal cities manipulating the crime stats. Tell us about that.
Well, yes, the thing that strikes me about this, President Biden is going to use his power to grant parole to migrants, to allow them to be in the country for 2 years. And that will turn them from being illegal into being legally in the country. And it strikes me as a comparison with rogue prosecutors who reduce the crime statistics and the number of people in prisons by simply not prosecuting wrongdoing and crimes. The problem is just as bad. In fact, of course, it is worse, because not prosecuting increases crime, just as granting parole to illegal immigrants encourages illegal immigration. But it allows the perpetrators, which is by whom I mean President Biden and the prosecutors, to pretend that they have somehow fixed the problem. And they haven't. They're making it worse.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said that no president has done more to secure the border than President Biden. How can the White House credibly be making that kind of claim with the numbers that we've seen over the past 2 years?
Well, Sarah, it isn't credible. It's rather like the White House saying that they're reducing inflation by spending trillions of dollars more money. The question for people is, who are you going to believe, the White House or your lying eyes? People can look at the border. They can see that there was a record set in 2021, Biden's first year in office. That record was smashed by the 2022, and there'll be more this coming year. It's going to be millions again this year. She said that he has done more than any previous president to make it a secure border. Everyone knows that's nonsense. What President Biden said in his Three Amigos meeting was that he wants to make it easier for people to come. When asked about his policy, he was saying, these people have to come through jungles, and they get abused by the amount that they have to pay to get here, and they get abused physically, and it's an absolutely terrible process. We want to make it easier, and so they don't have to go through this process. So this is not a fix of the illegal immigration problem. His fix is actually making the problem worse. And as I wrote in the column, his fix looks a lot like a border crisis.
Well, Hugo, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Hugo and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.